So here's a little piece of chain. You can make these chains as long as you like. You can make them by the yard. You can even make them by the yard and wind them onto something and then cut them off into lengths for necklaces when you want them. But I'm going to show you how to make this, what we call Bisbee chain. And it's just copper, silver, and little pewter daisies. So here are the ingredients. You've got the copper chain, which has been cut into little lots of 3. Poke them around, they're in there. Then you're going to have your tools. You've got your cutters, your curved nose, very important, your round nose, and I've got these on the table, but I won't be using them. Then we're going to have, and I'll have to lick my finger to pick them up, you're going to have 2.5mm round beads, seamless with large holes. When you buy those beads, 2.5s, you buy them seamless and with a large hole, and they're 2.5s. So if you don't find a dealer that has them, you're going to have to look around until you do, or ask me. Then we're going to have daisies. Of course, you can use anything you want in your design. These happen to be lead-free pewter, but of course they come in silver. It just makes your chain much more expensive. So this is the chain that I'm using today, and it's a fiddly business. You just have to cut your little links, and you've got to get it right, and you don't want to chop your fingers. It's not very difficult to have your hand in there and suddenly find a whole section of your finger is missing and there's blood everywhere. So don't hurry. Take your 20 gauge wire, make a nice sharp right angle at about 1.5 inches. Take your pliers out, put them back in. Watch how my hands are doing it. It really is the right way. Then you've got that. Put your pliers in. Bring it around to a right angle. It must be at a right angle. And then you always need to put a little nick, a little angle in your second part of the wire, because when you attach your chain, there needs to be a little bit of memory there. Otherwise, the circle is inclined to get distorted. 1, 2, 3, and a bit is my thing. And you see it's still at a right angle. That's really important. Cut it off nice and tight. On with your 2.5mm. Then you're going to put a copper, a pewter, oops. You can pick it up with the end actually, a copper, a pewter, a copper, and then one little 2.5mm, and that's going to be the beginning of your pretty links. Then match your link up with the angle of this one, right angle, same size loop, bring it around, give it that corner, take your next piece of chain, in it goes, open it, let it get in with your pliers, and off you go turning. 1, 2, 3, and a bit. You are going to have to get used to getting your directions right for this. I'm going to do another one and tell you how that works to get the proportions right. Wire, right angle, ring, right angle, little corner, spring it a little so that you can get your copper in. 1, 2, 3, and a bit. Cut it nice and tight. Put your 2.5 ring pewter, copper, pewter, copper, 2.5. And the way you're going to match this end is kind of visually. You're going to put your pliers where you think that twist would make. If you did it to here, you'd have a long twist. If you did it to here, you'd have a short twist. You're going to get it just right, and that is really habit. Bend it. Make your ring. Bring it around. Make your corner. Put your chain in. Hold it like that. 1, 2, 3 and a bit. Now remember, I've done this so many times I could take it to the moon. Now the next thing, which a lot of people who teach seem to leave out, is you must take a pair of curved nose pliers and pinch that little point tight, because otherwise it's a burr. Do you see how it's a burr there? You've got to take your round nose pliers in there and just give it a squeeze so that it's not going to catch in the nape hairs if somebody's got a necklace. Here's another one. Squeeze it. And here. Squeeze it. And those are your first 2 links. When you're cutting your wire, this is really important, especially if you've got children, animals, or loved one nearby. When you cut your wire, I'm just going to turn a little bit of it here just to do it with. When you cut your wire, always keep your finger on the piece you're cutting off, because literally, it could literally almost impale me. I mean, it comes off the piece of silver and it shoots across the room, and it can get into all kinds of trouble. Always, no matter how small the piece of silver is, always keep your finger on it when you're cutting it, because it will shoot and you'll feel it in your finger. Now I'm going to show you how to put a clasp onto the end of this. Personally, I like to take the little ring off, if there is one, because it can open up, and I like my work to be mainly what I call closed circuit. So I take that little ring off, take my wire, and start to attach it the way I showed you, like this. Right angle, little nick in the corner of it. Put the chain on, wind it down, 3 and a bit, cut it off. Let's see, you do this again, pick up your pieces, depending on the design that you want to do, but this is how I like to do it. So here we have our next pulse. Right angle, ring, and instead of putting the chain in, you slip your little clasp into there and wind it down, and that's all you have to do. 2, 3 and a bit. Close it off with your curved nose. And there is your clasp. Now, if you're going to do something and you do something wrong, you got your loop too big, and you go, oh dear, I think I'm going to kind of straighten this out and try and make that loop a little thinner. No, you can't do it. You just simply can't do it. You have to cut it off and start again. That's all there is to it. People try to straighten out the wire, but you just get mess. You've got to start fresh.